almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
That's millennials plus Gen Z. How's it, by the way, working with Wizkid? You have so many songs, and you have 2 songs on your current album with him. How's it like working with Wiz?
After Fela, Wizkid is the greatest Afrobeat artist ever.
Is this fact or just an opinion? This can be fact, and also this can also be an opinion. Now, first of all, this is the opinion of Olamide, but is this opinion backed in fact or not? That is where I come in. Now, first of all, my best Afrobeat artist. I won't say it's the greatest. I'll say my best. For me personally, it is Kiss Daniel. But if they say I have to choose between what I like the most, between Davido and Wizkid, if you have been following me on this channel, you will know I will choose Davido. But I'm not an 001 or part of OBO gang or those gang or fan group, but I'm not. I'm just a little bit biased because obviously I'm from Ede, from Osun State Ede, and things like that. That's the reason why, part of the reason why I'm a little bit biased, and that's why I say I prefer Davido to Wizkid. But objectively now, removing all the emotion of like, okay, I like this person, or the sentiment of is someone from my own town, objectively, can we say Wizkid is the greatest after Fela? And now the funny thing is this: Fela now is a matter of, the reason why I think he's on his own undisputed that he's the greatest Afrobeat artist of all time is because the people gave him that crown. The people crowned him the best. Because I had this discussion with someone and a person saying, Fela, Papa, these people crowned him. Like, if you go to the older generation, people that were alive during his time and people really listened to his vibe, this was someone that spoke to everybody. Because now, let's sound like Davido and Wizkid, some people don't listen to their song. Some people that are very religious don't listen to their songs. But that time, like religious or don't be religious or whatever you are, you listen to Fela song. And why? It's because it's not talking about she tell me say, or she's not talking about my mama said this one, my papa said this one, or this baby girl, your body is this one. He was talking about what is happening in the country. He was speaking directly to the people. He was speaking the people's language, and he was speaking the heart of the people. He was very bold, and his time was actually crazy because during his time was also during the time of the military regime in Nigeria, and military and things like that. And he still spoke during that time. That it was not the same. During the military regime, you don't really have your freedom of speech like that, and he still spoke to the extent that government of that time felt threatened, to the extent that they actually assaulted him and his mother. Do you see how influential that man was? So I don't think you can dispute that Fela is like made the government of that time be so afraid of you that maybe you're radicalizing or you're changing the mind of the people, or poison, according to them, the mind of the people, especially the youths, against the government, and you can easily rally around people. That is also like now people give out that crown. Now Wizkid one is a little bit controversial because we have Wizkid, we have Davido, we have Burna. Now Burna, in as much as I love Burna so much, I feel like Burna is a late comer. Burna blew up later after them Davido and Wizkid blew up. So I think that's the reason why it will be hard for us to just say Burna is the greatest, even though he has called himself that. It's hard to really give him that because most of the things you did, even though maybe you surpassed some of the things that Wizkid and Davido did, but you were not the first to do it. Do you get? You were not the first to do most of all those things. Do you get? And you were not like people have already done it. You just pushed it further, and you did more. And yes, accolades to him, and he also did his part. But now we are not talking about who actually first did. Now looking at it objectively, Wizkid did most of the things that Them Davido and Co now later did later. Even Davido said it when they were still much younger, maybe they were still kind of friends, that he saw David, that Wizkid was a kind of motivation for him, that he saw Wizkid and was like, I want to do this thing. That my brother did O2, I want to do it too. And mind you, Wizkid was the first to do O2. And that's just most of the things that comes. Even though like we know that the Bunch and the Dondazi opened the door a little bit, but Wizkid was the first that literally cracked the door open. It was the first that blew up internationally and was accepted internationally. Wizkid is so big that he has I think his birthday is like a national holiday in one town. I'll find out later. Wizkid, he has a lot of record in the Guinness Book of Record, the record with Beyonce that got a Grammy. Like, if you just look at it, he was the first, we first linked up with Chris Brown, Akon, and Co. He was the first to do those things, and his influence too in Nigeria. He has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, cult following in Nigeria, the FCs. Like, biggest. He can do no evil, do no wrong. Even when Baba Degba, before he dropped the Made in Lagos album, they rode with him. They were with him. And it's the fastest Afrobeats for his tickets to be sold out. He's like he was also in the Guinness Book of Record in 1 year. I don't know if the record is still till now, but there was a year in which he was in the Guinness Book of Record. So he get Guinness Book Record, and I think it's the only Afrobeat artist that has. I think so. And also with the song, I think it's part of. I think the record came from the song with Drake, One Dance, and that One Dance is still going till now. It does a lot of things that he was the first to do them, first to break. And look at his run this year too. Just look at his run this year. Almost all the songs he has featured on has gone to be number one of the biggest. Even though yes, Davido has one of the biggest songs to this year with You, but look at the songs. Almost all the songs jumped on this year that featured him as number one, crazy stream, crazy record, and things like that. So obviously, he's the artist for the year. So it is hard if you look at all these things to argue against and say he's not the Afrobeat biggest Afrobeat artist of all time after Fela. I think there's some sense, and there is, when you look at some evidence like I've presented so far, we can say that he's the biggest. Now, is he the best? Who knows? Is he your favorite? Maybe not. You can have a favorite, just like the way Messi and Ronaldo too. Even though you can argue maybe Messi is the greatest, you can argue maybe Ronaldo is the greatest, but personally, everybody has their preference. So personally, you can say, oh, okay, this is my own preference. Personally, some people don't like Fela, but it's hard to say Fela was not the biggest, was not the greatest Afrobeat artist of all time. And it is hard to say after Fela, it is not Wizkid. It is very, very hard. Now, you being the forerunner doesn't necessarily mean you will now be the biggest. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ obviously is bigger than John the Baptist. But with what Wizkid has done, he's still doing, because Wizkid still doing it now, and the influence he has had internationally, I don't think anybody beats him in that. Bona is there, but internationally, I don't think anybody's beating Wizkid. In the Nigerian music industry, people that will beat Wizkid, or they will try, or they are there, it will be Don Jazzy and Olamide in the Nigerian industry because of what they have done in the Nigerian industry. But everybody just wants to be like Wizkid. Everybody looks up to Wizkid. Like, Wizkid is like that. I noticed one day that Wizkid is the pinnacle. Like, he's there. But this does not mean Davido is not there with him. That does not mean Davido is not also there with him. But it is a very hard, thing to say, who on which. But I think Olamide is not just pulling that out of it. I think there's a little bit of legitimacy to what he's saying. If you look at the stats, look at the evidence, and look at everything in front of you. Now, this is my own case for saying it is not crazy to say Wizkid is the biggest Afrobeat artist of all time after Fela. But guys, I don't know if you have if you can also prove that maybe the video is the biggest, or maybe it's another person. Please put it in the comment section with your evidence and with with your points. I would like to know and also continue with the discussion and arguments in the comment section. Please like this video, share with your friends, and if you are new here, please subscribe, and I'll see you